Okay. Good morning, everybody. Well, welcome to Align Mentor today on this. Today we're getting rainy Sunday. So hope you're having a great week. Had a great week from the last and only to get better. Um, Today we're going to be talking about how to release and actually releasing uh, the things that don't serve you, as we call them, or letting go to grow. We are actually going to be talking about how to, those things that just don't serve you anymore, or kind of the things that we can use as excuses. So, what is to release something? It's allowing it as a definition, it's allow it or enable it to escape from confinement. It is also a noun where it's, the action of releasing or being released. So letting go in essence. So we want to talk about how this actually, you know, what are some things that will hold you back from growing? Things that we've been taught in the past, those, as a lot of people are saying these days, those generational curses that, everybody has the lower income or the opportunities or not, not having the right situations. Well, what, or even that negative self-talk. So how often has that happened? How often are you still using those things? So that, how many times you go, it's like, gosh, I have, or, if you didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. That's still negative self-talk. How often do we talk about these things? How often do we, complain or, think we're venting about something, but it's really just a negative self-talk. So we want to really understand why it's important. So our first key point today is really, why is it important for us to actually let things go? Even people that are around us, they will, want to keep you on their level. So, some people that are very narcissistic because they are that center of attention. So they're going to try to hold you back, even though you want to grow. So how do you handle that? So, those are some can be some very important things, even if they are family. So are there people in your life where uh they're just holding you back, giving you, it's like, oh, that's not going to work, oh, that, maybe it's a way you're going to change your eating and your diet. You want to lose some weight. It's like, and what does somebody say? Oh, you've tried that before. That's not going to, it didn't work for you the last time. Well, do you need that? And how do you respond to that? And then what are we going to do about that? So, what is a benefit of really letting something go? Well, we've talked about it in the past, in our other calls, that where are we actually um, defining what is going to have us do what we want? Well, our goals are that. So we have our goals. We want to get to our goals, but you have to give up something to get to those goals. You have to make room in your life for that. And, the negative is part of that. Your mindset, plays a big part of that as well. So that, it's becoming and taking all of these things that we're talking about and using and getting one thing at a time, finding out what you're going to use, and go back and listen to this a second time. You know, one thing is that our mentors say, we have our mentors too. So when you actually talk about something, when your mentor and our sorry, got a little off topic there. So um, you know, when you watch something and it's something that is to help you, every time you watch it, you should learn something new. And if you don't learn something new, or the video or the conference that you went to is, identical. But if you're hearing the same information and there's no real change, well, did you actually act upon that information that you received? Because you're never going to get 100% of the information that is given to you. And if I remember correctly, after even 24 hours, you only remember 50% of what you heard. And it just goes down from there. So, like after a week, you might have 10% of what you just heard if you don't use it. So these are, and then if we fall right, that can fall right back into those old habits. That's kind of what happens. So that's why you need to let go and be diligent about those negative things, or getting rid of the things that don't serve you. So also, how do we identify what we give up? So point number two, how do we figure that out? Well, last week and the week before, we were talking about, you have your goals. There's your first. Those are things that you want. So you're going to have to add those into your life. But when we use the Eisenhower matrix, you know, you found out what was very important and necessary, and not very important, not necessary. Those lists are exactly what you can use as a tool. Those are tools for you to use to find out where you should let things go. And this includes people in your life. And Tanya and I have had over the past year, people leave our circle and chose to walk out of our lives. And it wasn't always pleasant, and it's unfortunate, but they are choosing to walk out. We are letting them go. We are releasing them because they do not serve us anymore. We want to raise ourselves up and go to that next level. And that's what we're hoping to help you do, to get you to the next level. We want you to be at your highest potential and at your highest level, and to get to your things. Tanya, did you have something to say? Did you want to add
Yes,
it?
I do. Yeah, so when we say they're not serving us anymore, what that it's not like a weird thing, but it's the relationship no longer is in alignment. The goals and the targets and the mindset has shifted, and we're no longer in alignment with those individuals. So we release them with love so that they can go do what they're going to do, because we cannot ethically support their way of life, and they're not willing to grow and continue to be in alignment with us. I think that's more about what that means.
Exactly. So, our lives just don't align anymore. And, one of my goals is that I align with Tanya. And that goal is not going to probably go off my goals, because it's a constant work, because our goals are going to change, our ideas are going to change, how we think about things are also change. So our communication is key, and that keeps us aligned and on the same page. And those other relationships, like Tanya said, just don't align with us and no longer serve our higher selves, where we've gotten to in our circle. So now those are very important things, because they were actually holding us back. And it's very unfortunate. And it's sad. It was sad to see them go. But they had to go, and they chose to go. And that's okay. And that happens, how many times have you had to do that? How many stories have you heard where people go low contact with family? You can love your family. They can appear to have, and they do, a lot of everybody does have your best interest at heart. But when it's that, like I used the example of going on a diet, it's like, oh, that didn't work for you before. That doesn't serve you. So how do you handle that? You can go, it's like, oh, thank you. You take responsibility for it. yes, it didn't work for me before. I didn't follow everything properly. This time I'm going to do it differently. So I thank you very much, but I would really appreciate your support in that my journey to lose weight and get healthier. So now you've turned it instead of, yes, you've taken your responsibility. Now you go ahead and turn it and go, it's like you're asking for them to support you, you know, because you've already taken the responsibility, you've taken out any disagreements, but you're asking for their support. That will serve you. And if they choose not to, then that's fine. That's okay. You can choose then to release that conversation and you can go, you don't have to talk about that journey with that person. It's your choice on how you deal with them. So, Tanya, do you want to kind of go into mindset, which is a third point that we have, how to change your mindset when you have people in your life that or situations that you have that don't serve you.
Absolutely. So mindset is crucial, and protecting your mindset is crucial. So you want individuals in your immediate circle to be in alignment with you so that they're not going to negative talk. And sometimes you can't exclude them because they're family members and you want to keep them there. And I understand that. I don't necessarily agree with keeping them close, but that's a personal decision everybody should make for themselves. Deciding who is going to receive your energy is vital. And that's why a lot of people talk about don't tell people where you're going because they will negative talk about it, and that impacts your and not only energetically, spiritually, physically, all of it plays into the part of when you speak, you're creating. It is literally spell work. It is manifesting the environment that you want to be in. So while you're doing that, you don't always necessarily have dominion over the situation itself, but you absolutely have dominion over how you respond to the situation. So when you are in a situation that you're navigating and you start saying, why does this always happen to me? Well, that's you are allowing it by putting that energy out there. So instead of saying, why does this always happen to me? You would want to rephrase it, own it, like, okay, so here I am. I don't like this situation. I'm displeased with it. I can give you a direct example. Because of the chemotherapy and radiation that I had because I had uterine cancer, my body does not always signal me when I have to use the bathroom. And I have absolutely um, gone to the bathroom, not being in a bathroom in public. And it's a humiliating experience. And what, a year ago, I decided that I was done being a victim of the situation and I've empowered myself. So it is a situation that occurs, but if I look at it with gratitude that I'm here, I'm grateful for this body, even if it doesn't function the way I want it to function. So how do I support this body when I'm put in this situation? So now we carry around basically it's a diaper bag for me, right? Like clothes, baby wipes, um, sometimes some chocolate, things to make me feel a little better about the situation, essential oils, things that put me in a better mindset. And when it happens, and it's definitely happened recently. Fortunately, the last time it happened, I was at home, so I was immediately able to just hop in a shower. And in the shower, I let the water, like I visualized the water washing away the negative situation. And when I stepped out of the shower, I made a decision that the rest of the day was going to be better. So I gave myself a fresh start, literally a fresh start. And when you start to rephrase things in your head, it reflects in how you deal with the situation, and the situations are easier to deal with. Does that make sense? We're good? Okay.
Good. How about any questions? Does anybody have questions right now? Or, put into the chat if you have any questions, or put into the chat if you agree that there are things that you need to work on, how, what you could do, that there are things you need to let go of.
Oh yeah, we got like I have a lot to talk about letting go of. I believe that physical realm mimics the mental realm, right? So if you're living in a mess, your mind is a mess. So cleaning up, even if you're just organizing and putting things back into its place, because everything in your house should have a home in the house, right? Even if you have a lot of things, it could still be neat and tidy, but when it's disorganized, that's when you become disorganized. So the more on top of your physical environment, the easier it is for your mental environment to reflect that and be more precise. Yes? Were you going to say
Yes,
something, Dan?
definitely. Yeah, no, that's the next step I was going to actually go into is, how do what about your physical environment? What are, people become, you hear of people, my mother was this way. I am working on being not so much of a pack rat. So that you hear how many people have all of this extra stuff, stuff in your house that you've been holding on to. How many times have you moved houses, apartments, locations where you live, and you still have something from, you know, memorabilia from your childhood is different. But how do you have something that you have taken with you that you haven't touched or used in 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how old you are, 5 years, 2 years, depending on how you look at it, even 6 months ago, that's January. What resolutions did you do to get, declutter your area? And do you still have it? What are the things that you can't let go of that you think you can't let go of actually? So Tanya and I are actually in the middle of that. We are decluttering a lot of our house. Where we're at, it's 10 years. And, when we moved in, the house was not as full as it is now. Things just seem to accumulate, don't they?
Yes.
So it's time to periodically, and maybe it's make a list, literally inventory your life. That is a way to figure out what you have to let go of. You know, Inventory it. Why not? Yes, it's going to take a little bit of time, but when you declutter things, you're pulling time forward. And when you stay on top of that, that gives you that much more time because it takes less time to accomplish tasks. You know, Having someone else, help clean your house. Well, kids can do that. That's how they learn. That's how we parent. We're teaching them to do things. And that also helps free you up to do something else. But it doesn't mean that you sit in front of the TV and eat bonbons all day either. Be productive. There are times to relax, and that is okay. Making time for yourself, that's decluttering, that's releasing, things as well, because you have to reset yourself. Don't forget that, you know, releasing if, emotions, stresses, they can really add up, and you need to make sure you take time for yourself as well. So don't forget it's not just a mental or a work environment, it is also a physical thing in your own living space. So this encompasses everywhere. And it's just finding other ways to do that. It's just decluttering it. When it comes to the mental, you know, you can meditate, you can sit quietly, read a book. If you want to watch a movie, watch a movie. There is no wrong way other than, and the caveat is taking too much time and then turning it into procrastination. So maybe you need to let go of procrastination. And, do you have a list on the items and things that you need to do that day? How is it on your calendar? That's a way to keep track of it as well. Put it on your calendar, make sure that it's there, and then check it off that it's done. There's nothing wrong with that. I have multiple ways that I keep doing it electronically. Works better for you on your phone or your computer, do it that way. Find a way that works for you. And there's many different ways. There's many different programs out there too. I do mine on an Excel spreadsheet and I write it down in hard copy. They both work for me. It helps keep me accountable. Maybe those will work for you too. So, does anybody have any questions on thoughts that, ways that you've actually decluttered something yourself? Do we have any questions also? I don't see any in the chat, but if you have them, put them in the chat too, please.
No, there's just a relatability in the chat. There's a lot of relatability.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess what I'd like to get into next is, how to let go, how do you let go of things? Now that you've found, we've given points on, creating lists, going in inventory, straightening up, throwing out things that, you haven't touched, in long periods of time. And that is up to you on that time frame. But how do you just let that go? Well, those are the mind shifts, those are the elevations. So when you have a positive discourse with someone, when you are talking to someone and change how you speak with them, that is a way to do it, especially when you take responsibility, because you can only change you, but you have the responsibility on how you respond to a situation as well. And your reactions can dictate how those interactions resolve themselves. So you can, take the criticisms, for what they are. And then, thank the person, thank the person for their criticism and tell them that you're going to go think about it. That's a way to do it, graciously, whether or not it's that they're giving you something that's truly in a positive function. But it's something where you can take it and then, think about it. And if it's useful, use it. If not, it just goes away. Just let it go. It's just like water under a bridge. It's just gone. So, getting that mindset of, if it's not serving you. And the way to do that is look at your goals you wrote down. So did you write your goals down yet this morning? I have mine right here. There's my book. There's my goals. My goals, I'll show you.
While he's finding them, I'm gonna admit I have not yet done this and need to go do
So,
this.
hopefully I can
Can't
get it
see
in
you,
there. You
sir.
can see, huh?
Can't see you.
I know you can't see me, but you can see the book.
No.
Okay. Well then, but as you can see,
There you go.
that's today. My goals are done. Here's for yesterday. So you here's your list. And does that conversation, or does the information that you just received, work in a positive manner to get you to your goals? There's your, if you want, there's your litmus test. Does it help serve you? Does it serve you to get to your goals? That's a key. And, take it, you can take everything with a grain of salt and move it to a positive for getting it to your goals. That's even financially, where are you financially? Where are your financial goals? So what do you need to let go of so that you can have, you know, have a better vacation or have a vacation period? These are things, how do you manage your money? So that's a topic that, we can have offline, or it's actually a completely different topic from today, but it's something I just wanted to mention as well. So it's really going through that. Tanya, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Um, I want to talk again about the importance of spelling, right? Like creating your world. And it boils down to making a decision, right? Make the decision how you want to be. And every time you voice something or think something that counteracts that, catch it in the moment, right? Like every time you catch yourself having a negative thought, look at it, go cancel and delete, and immediately frame it in the way that you want it to be. And I know how difficult this is because we have millions of thoughts a day. I don't know what the exact number is, but it's many thoughts a day. And they happen so fast, we don't always perceive them. But when we say something and we're like, no, I don't like that, immediately cancel and delete. I take that out of the law, however you want to phrase that, right? And then just shift it into alignment of where you want to be. That's what I wanted to add.
So does anybody want to share right now? Does anybody want to come off mic and let us know if there's something that uh, you think that is really going to help you? Just one thing from today that you can go back and use immediately. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can also put it in the chat. But go ahead,
What about
Nadine.
just shifting mindset? I know with getting rid of one of the things I struggle with a lot too, that in my mindset I revert back to like a victim mentality, and it really frustrates me because there's times I don't feel like that, and then it reverts back, and it's something I'd like to work on and get rid of for sure. It's been a substantial chunk in my head.
Okay, that is great. Yeah, no, having a bouncing back and forth, that is definitely something that can be worked on. It is something definitely in a mind shift. And maybe it's something we need to talk a little bit offline for, and we can definitely do that. But did you also have a question with that? Maybe we can help you out right now.
No, not specifically. I think it just caught my attention when a couple times Tanya had mentioned as far as with her battle with cancer, and I understand that the mindset just might be related a lot with that, and so it kind of just caught my attention there, and I didn't have anywhere to write that down right now, so I thought I would just mention, even if it's for a different class or something, it's definitely just rang true in my mind.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's a constant struggle, right? The more often you actually practice it, the better you will get at it, just like with everything else. I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2007, so that was 17 years ago. And even now, there are side effects that were a result of that trauma that I am still making myself, improving myself, daily. And I focus on, I make mistakes. Everybody does, right? And when something comes out of my mouth that I don't like, I will, if I catch it, I'm training myself to be more cognizant of the words that come out of my mouth so that I'm listening to what I'm saying so that if it is a negative self-talk or if it's just not a nice at all, right? Like I will immediately say, oh no, 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 cancel and delete, because I love cancel and delete because it's like a canceling delete on the computer. And then how do I want that to sound? How do I want that to be? What phrase could I use here that is in alignment with who I want to become? Who am I? Who am I bringing forward? And then I'll phrase it in that manner. I hope that is helpful. We have an exercise. You want to do the exercise now, sir?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So we're going to take 5 minutes and we are going to write down what physical items do we need to let go of? What thought processes do you need to release? What friendships, relationships, or situations are holding you back? And how can you change that? So we're gonna allow 5 minutes for that. Okay. How did everybody do with that exercise? Does anybody want to share either out loud or in the chat? If not, that is okay. But thank you.
I was like, I can try a little bit. I'll see if I'm on the right track here. It's the only way I'll get some feedback. Um, for physical, I related what you guys said, like decluttering my room. I've been working on that. It helps a lot, and I think there's a direct correlation to the way I feel when I declutter, even if it's a little bit at a time. I feel like I cleaned my mind a little bit, and I did, share that with a friend of mine. So I think it's right on par with what you guys are saying, what I need to keep doing. Um, Mindset, I have two that really stand out to me. A victim mindset after getting hit by the car, and then I get in the thought process. It's completely separate, but when I think of certain family things, I get in a very angry thought process, and those are two things that I like to completely separate, but work on both of those because they seem to negatively affect me, and mostly me. And then for friendships, I need to do better, just all the way around. I don't really engage with a lot of people because I stay inside, but the friendships I do have, um, just aren't fair on their side. I'm not doing what I need to be doing. And then maybe my family, my mom, I need to learn to let go. That's just a whole other issue. And my sister, if I could work on that and do anything, it'd be to hold space for her and what she needs to, work out and get out without being defensive.
Okay. So on the individuals, the family members that you hold a lot of anger for, are those relationships that you want to keep or let go of?
No, no, I
No?
wish I could
Okay.
learn to let go. I just tend to, it's mostly just something with my mom, and I have a really hard time just learning to let it and leave it alone. I keep trying to go back and uh, do things differently or thinking it will change things, and it just won't. And so I need to change my mindset to be able to leave things as they are and move forward with myself, whatever way that looks.
What I recommend that you do is decide what aspects of that relationship that you want. And what I mean by that is like what archetypes, like what specific pieces that you need from a mother figure, and go find those pieces in some other human. And that will help you let go of the need to have it from this specific human. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll break it down and do some more work and see what it is I'm looking for. Um, in that
Yeah.
because I know it's just like just I think I keep gravitating towards my mom, but I haven't broken it down like you said to see what it is what attributes I'm needing and see where I could, supplement that.
Yeah, so if you can figure out what those attributes are, if you can pinpoint those, and that will take a little bit of work, but once you do that, it will help you with your anger, number one, because you'll understand why you're mad, and it will also help you go seek that specific quality somewhere else. Okay,
Yep, thank you.
thank you. Thank you for all of the feedback in the chat. That is everything for today. And I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you.